Introducing Mustang Geek's newest project car, a 1999 Mustang Cobra that we got off of Facebook Marketplace for $10,000. Well, technically it was $9,999.75. Anyway, this is the great time to buy these cars because while Fox body Mustangs have iconic styling and they're popular, that also means good ones are expensive and ones that are reasonably priced are pretty much junk. 1994 to 2004 Mustangs right now are a bargain, and if you can find one that's reasonably priced and is in good shape, they are a great platform to work with. Just like a Fox body Mustang, you can take the car in a number of directions without worrying about ruining the car because factory stock, they don't drive all that great and they're pretty slow. This 1999 Mustang Cobra is completely stock right down to the factory air silencer. Before looking at any used Mustang, be sure to get a Carfax because that Carfax is going to tell you, at least if there are any accidents or anything else, body damage or whatever that were noted in the car's history. Now on this car, you also need to take a look at it because the door gaps and all the other panel gaps should be pretty straight. These cars were difficult to get lined up from the factory, so if any of this stuff doesn't line up, it's because the car was most likely wrecked. You want to walk around the car also, the rear bumper cover here. Make sure that this is straight, not sticking out. There should be pretty decent alignment on all that. Moving to the rear, take a look at the trunk, the deck lid gaps like here and on the other side, make sure that those are pretty straight. Rear bumper cover, these bumper covers were pretty wavy, even from the factory. So you need to be a little bit patient with some of this stuff because sometimes that's not going to be straight even from the factory. Going back over here again, look at the bumper cover gap, that's pretty good. Here door panel gaps are good. Now down here, here's an example. This door gap is good, but look at where the trim is right here. See how it's uneven? That actually was because under here they used a jack and they messed up the rocker panel pinch weld, and that's what's affecting this gap right here. So that's not a result of accident damage, that's just a result of jacking it up like an idiot. On the front, these are Mustangs, so they hit lots of stuff, and so if they hit stuff, none of this is going to line up well if they try to fix it poorly. These gaps, see how that line is continuous right there and the gap is good? Same thing here. These gaps are symmetrical where the bumper cover meets the hood. And then here, this is pretty even and the gap is pretty good. There's not adjustment on the hood on some of these cars. So from a body shop, you can't just like tweak the hood to make it work because when one thing doesn't line up, nothing's gonna line up. Also here too, the gaps where the headlights are meet the bumper cover. Those should be straight and symmetrical. Under here, if fog lights are missing, probably means that it was hit in the front and they just didn't bother to replace the fog lights. Another thing too, now this car, I said it was 100% stock. The only thing that's aftermarket are the headlights. The headlights on these cars yellow, and that's very, very common. And so if you find a car that has yellowed headlights, that's actually a good sign because it means they haven't been replaced from hitting something. So this one, the owner actually included the old headlights with it, but they put new headlights in there because they were yellowed and cracked. Another red flag with body damage is aftermarket or non-stock bumper covers. Lo and behold, look, it's a 99 to 01 Cobra that has this proper bumper cover. It doesn't have an 03 Cobra bumper cover or Terminator bumper cover on it. Well, it's strange, most of them do. And so the point is, if it has a Terminator bumper cover on it and it has maybe an aftermarket hood, aftermarket headlights, it probably was hit in the front. So that's just a warning sign to keep an eye out for. If you open the hood, you'll find lots of previous body damage if there was some. Now this paint here looks a little yellowed, so to me that tells me that it's still factory stuff because it matches the strut towers and everything else. These fenders, while they don't have the VIN like they did on earlier models, this one does have a Ford oval symbol there. Also these bolts and all this, the fender mounting bolts, that all looks like it hasn't been disturbed. So that's a good sign for not having body damage. Also, you may find overspray here. Now this car looks like it has been painted in the past because it's got some flaking paint here, and the factory paint would not be like that. Maybe they just had the car painted at one time. It's possible because I don't see any other real body damage here. A lot of times too, if the car is hit in the front, they don't bother replacing this piece and it'll be missing. So if this piece is missing, that's a sign that there maybe was some body damage to the car in the past. Everything else in this engine compartment seems pretty much stock and not disturbed. The fact that it's dirty is kind of a good sign because it just means that it has 86,000 miles of grime on it. Let's move to the interior. This car has a parchment interior, which is probably not as popular as the black or charcoal interiors were of the time, but it's in good shape, and actually I don't personally mind the color change because there's a lot of black and charcoal cars these days. This has seat bolster wear right here, super common. In fact, it's very rare to have a car that doesn't have wear like this on it. And even though this car only has 86,000 miles, still pretty typical. In fact, 1994 to 1998 cars especially had really bad leather seats. They didn't last at all, especially when they had sun damage or they were dry. Steering wheel is also really common to have a lot of wear here. This one especially, look at this. Now, this is actually not as bad as I've seen. Some of them actually will have the leather just completely peeling off, and it's not uncommon when you look at cars like this, they'll have some kind of janky steering wheel cover right here to cover all of it, but that's because the steering wheels just did not last. Kind of smells in here. Anyway, everything else is stock. Having a factory radio is a good thing because that means that the wiring is hopefully not too disturbed. This car has 86,000 miles on it, and on these cars, since it has a digital odometer, if it agrees with the Carfax, then it's very unlikely that the mileage has been tampered with or anything like that, because the odometer communicates with the PCM, and all of that, it has to agree. And so it's not like you can just go in there and switch out to a different gauge cluster and get a different mileage reading. The engines on these cars are especially quiet. They're nice and smooth, and they should be. If it's making any kind of death noises, that's a red flag. Depends on how ambitious you want to be. Now this one also, within a day of owning it, check engine light came on. I mean, buying a used car, what are the chances that the check engine light comes on a day after buying it? I mean, who knew? Again, these engines are pretty smooth, really shouldn't be making a lot of noise. This one seems to have a noisy alternator, but that's not a big deal. It's very easy to fix because it's right there. Compared to 2003 and 2004 Mustangs, these do not usually have valve ticks or anything like that, and this one is consistent with that. Nice and smooth, no connecting rod rattles or anything like that. Good and smooth for a car of this era. Well, technically this car has a 5-speed transmission. I call it 4.5 because 5th gear synchronizer is done. Nice. Looks like a TKX or a T56 is in this car's future. Which one would you recommend and why? Let me know in the comments. While this car has its flaws, for 10,000 bucks, it's about half the price of a Fox body in this condition with 86,000 miles. Overall, pretty good deal.